So in the last class, what we have seen, we have discussed about your surface tension. Okay. So who is going to tell me today about surface tension? Fast recap. If in a single line you have to define what is surface tension, what you are going to say? In a single line, anyone? Definition is in front of you. So you have to define surface tension is defined as the tensile force acting on a surface of a liquid in contact with gas or some other immiscible liquid. Okay. Surface tension is defined as the tensile force acting on the surface of the liquid in contact with a gas or on the surface between two immiscible liquids. Okay. That is called as your surface tension. Now, we have seen it is represented using sigma and its SI unit is Newton per meter. We have seen the case study of 3 water molecules at position A, at position B, as well as at the free surface C. So the molecules present at this free surface, that is on your top level, it is experiencing a downward tensile force due to your cohesive forces or the van der Waals force of attraction between similar molecules. Okay, so from there this surface tension is coming into the picture. Now after that we have seen the derivation for surface tension of a liquid droplet. First we have seen the surface tension for soap bubble, point number 2, and we have seen the surface tension for liquid jet also. Okay, so one by one we will see the formula so that we can solve the numerical today. Okay, so this is your first formula. P equals to, anyhow you have to remember this derivation, so that will be, in that situation it will be easier for you to remember this formula. Only thing what you have to remember, sigma is acting at the circumference over here, circumference of this semicircle. Okay, so the pressure force will be equals to P into area, pi by 4 into d square, and this force due to the surface tension will be sigma into pi d, only at the circumference, outer surface. Okay, when you will equate this, you will get P equals to 4 sigma by d. So this you have to keep in your mind. P equals to 4 sigma into upon d. So 3 variables or 3 unknowns are here, P, sigma and d. Any 2 will be given, you have to calculate the third one. So this is the simplest or most easiest numerical in fluid mechanics, and generally it is asked in your competitive examinations. Now we have seen for hollow cylinder, hollow bubble also. The previous one was for your liquid droplet, means the entire droplet is volumetric, volume was there. Now here it is hollow bubble, like soap bubble. Soap bubble, from inside you have gas, outside the soap bubble also you have gas. Okay, so here you have 2 free surfaces. So you have to multiply here by a factor of 2, rest everything remains the same. So what change you will observe? This P equals to 8 sigma upon d. Previously it was here 4 sigma upon d for liquid droplet. For hollow bubble it will become 8 sigma by d. Okay, now come to the liquid jet. For liquid jet we have a rectangular cross section when you are going to cut it. So the surface tension force you will get here as sigma into 2 into L, because the free surface is only on the both sides across the length. You can see here the black lines. Okay, so 2 into length, that will give you your force due to the surface tension. Okay, now the force due to your internal pressure, it will become P into L into D, and finally when you will solve it, you will get sigma into 2L upon L into D. So L and L will get cancelled out, and finally you will get 2 sigma upon D. So these three formula you write somewhere on your notebook. For liquid droplet, write P equals to 4 sigma by D. For soap bubble, it will become P equals to 8 sigma by D. And for liquid jet, it will be equals to P equals to 2 sigma by D. These three formula I want you all people to write somewhere on your notebook. So that it will be easier while solving the numerical. 8 sigma divided by D, and the last one is your P equals to 2 sigma divided by D. So all of you write down these three formula. You can write here that this is for liquid droplet, this is for soap bubble, and this third one is for your liquid jet. Okay. Now all of you are ready with your notebook and calculator. Type in the chat box.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So three basic simple formula on that we are going to solve the numerical. I'm going to hide the solution. Okay, first numerical we will see. Okay, for few students it will be difficult. Then I'll give it you people to solve it. Now, the surface tension of water. First, all of you listen the problem. Okay, I will tell you the strategy to solve the numerical. Then I will give you time to note down. So don't worry. The surface tension of water in contact with air at 20 degrees Celsius is 0.0725 Newton per meter. Okay. So surface tension value is given. No need to worry about this temperature because we are not studying till now the dependence of temperature on your surface tension. Now, the pressure inside the droplet of water is to be 0.02 Newton per centimeter square greater than the outside pressure. Now, calculate the diameter of the droplet. So simple. Sigma is given, that is your surface tension. Pressure is given, but you have to see here, it is given in Newton per centimeter square. Okay. In the numerical, it is written in Newton per centimeter square. So you have to convert it into Newton per meter square. For that, you need to multiply it with 10 raised to the power 4. So you will get the pressure also. Now you have to determine D. So which formula you will use? Here it is water. So water is a liquid droplet. Okay. So you have to use the formula P equals to 4 sigma by D. P is given. Put this value. Sigma is given. So you have to calculate D. So you will get the value of D in unit meter. Okay. So if you have to convert it into mm, you will get 1.45 mm diameter is the droplet of your water droplet diameter. Okay. Now this is very simple. No need to explain it. So all of you write down. At the same time, I would like to remind you people that I have created a class on your Canvas website. Okay. So as per the instructions from our college side, we have to use Canvas instead of Google Classroom. So there I have uploaded the syllabus as well as your textbook. Okay. And I have added one assignment also. In the previous class also I have said you that you have to prepare all the notes. Okay. And like you were uploading for your mid examination previously, in the same way you have to prepare your notes, whatever is taught till today. Okay. And you have to upload it in your Canvas account. Now everything is digitalized. So your marks will be calculated based on all your assignments also. Your attendance, how many times, means how many minutes you are staying in the lecture, are you submitting the assignment regularly or not? Every factor will be considered. At least for my subject, I will consider. Once you complete, write in the chat box completed, sir. Then I will move ahead. Okay, now I can see many of you have completed. So now we will switch to the next problem, and that problem you are going to solve yourselves. Yes. Solution, I will try to hide it out. Okay. Yes. So this is the next problem. All of you note down the problem. Find the surface tension of a soap bubble. Okay, so it is a hollow soap bubble. Diameter is given 40 mm when the inside pressure is 2.5 Newton per meter square above atmospheric pressure. So it is so simple. You have to use that formula P equals to, this is a soap bubble. So 8 sigma divided by D. Okay, this inside pressure P is given. This diameter is also given. Diameter is given 40 mm. So you have to convert this into meter. So it will become 40 into 10 raised to the power minus 3 meters. Okay, the pressure is given in Newton per meter square, that is fine, 2.5 Newton per meter square. Now you have to calculate this sigma. So sigma will become, sigma will be equals to P into D divided by 8. Now tell me the answer, what you are getting. Put the values, do the calculation, and tell me the answer. Everything is in front of you. And you have to put the answer in your chat box. I want to see majority of the students. Now we have 35, 36 participants, and I want everyone to answer.
0.0125 Newton per meter.
Whatever the answer you are getting, put it in your chat box. Till now, I have received answer from one person, 345.
0.0125 Newton meter, sir.
Yeah. Second answer I got from Gautam, then Sachin, then 330. Okay, very good. You all are getting the same answer. Okay, so don't just copy and paste it from your friends. Okay, for rest of the students, I am expecting that you all people have solved and got the answer. Okay, this is very simple. Okay, so the rest of the students who are not able to solve, they can note down the solution. I'll give you 2 minutes. For the students who were not able to solve the answer, they can copy it. Okay, now let's move to the next problem. This is our next problem. Again, I am going to hide the solution. Okay, so all of you see here, first you see the problem, then I'll give you the time to solve it. The pressure outside the droplet of water, okay, means you have to use that formula, P equals to 4 sigma upon D. The diameter is given, it is in mm, diameter is 0.04 mm, so you have to convert it into meters. Okay, pressure is given 10.32 Newton per centimeter square. Outside the droplet it is given. Okay, now calculate the pressure within the droplet if the surface tension is given as 0.0725 Newton per meter of the water. So surface tension is given, okay, outside pressure is given, diameter is given, it is written that it is a droplet of water. So you all know which formula you have to use. You have to use P equals to 4 sigma by D. Okay, so sigma is given, sigma is 0.0725 Newton per meter. So this is in Newton per meter, SI unit, no need to convert it. Diameter D is 0.04 mm. So this time you have to convert this into meter. So for that 0.04 into 10 raised to the power minus 3, it will become into meter. So from here you will get some value of P. Okay. So this P will be your pressure inside the droplet. And what it is asking, calculate the pressure within the droplet. Some disturbing noise is coming from the background. If someone has unmuted himself, please mute yourself. Okay, so this is how you can solve it. Now do the calculation and tell me the answer in your chat box. Then after this, we will start capillary tube, one of the very interesting topic of the fluid mechanics. Yes, now I'm getting the answers. 2% have sent me the answer. 309 and 352. Very good. Okay, this 352 has given the previous answer. Okay, 309 has given me the answer. Now let's see the solution. Diameter is given, pressure outside the droplet is given, surface tension is given. The formula you all know for water droplet, this is the formula. Okay, so from here you are getting some pressure in Newton per meter square. So the pressure inside the droplet will be equals to this pressure plus pressure outside the droplet. Because in the previous problem, if you have observed, here it is saying, everywhere it is saying the pressure above atmospheric pressure. So in the same way, you have to add that value, add the atmospheric pressure. Atmospheric means outside pressure you have to add. So it will become 11.045 Newton per centimeter square. Those who are not able to solve it, you can note it down. I'll give you 1 or 2 minutes more. Now I hope everyone has completed. Shall I move to the next slide? Or you want more time? Type in the chat box, yes, sir. Then I'll move to the next slide. Okay. Majority of you have completed. Very good. Now, capillarity. Now, what is capillarity? It is a very, very common thing that you will see in your laboratory experiments. Everywhere you will see the capillary tube. Okay, so first try to understand what is this capillarity is about. Okay, so as you can see here, first we will try to understand the definition. Then I will give you the mathematical expression for it. Okay, in simple language, suppose you have a container filled with some liquid. This is your container and it is filled with some liquid. Okay. And you are putting any tube. Okay. If you are putting any tube inside it, having small diameter, you will observe that the level of liquid will be little bit higher in this tube. For this case, it is high by a value of H from the rest of the liquid in the container. Okay, so this phenomena is called as your capillary action or capillarity. For some of the liquid, even you will see that there will be drop. Okay, suppose this is your surface, liquid surface over here. So for some of the liquids, you will see there will be drop in the level of liquid inside this tube. So that is called as capillary down. Okay, this is capillary rise, the above one. And then another case you will see capillary down or capillary drop. Okay, now let's see what is the definition for this. Capillarity is defined as the phenomena of rise or fall of liquid surface in a small tube relative to the adjacent general level of liquid when the tube is held vertically in the liquid. Okay, so this is the definition of your capillarity. If in your examination short question is asked, define capillarity, then you have to write down this line. Capillarity is defined as the phenomena of rise or fall of liquid surface in a small tube relative to the adjacent general level of the liquid when the tube is held vertically in the liquid. This is called as capillarity. Okay, then in the next line you can write rise of the liquid surface is known as capillary rise, while the fall of liquid surface is known as capillary depression. Okay, so it is expressed in terms of centimeter or mm of liquid. Its value depends on, very important point for your competitive examination point of view, the value of capillary rise or capillary depression depends upon the specific weight of the liquid, first value, diameter of the tube, the third one is surface tension of the liquid. Okay, so they may ask you question like capillary rise or depression will depends on, four options will be there. Among those four, there will be one of them like specific weight of the liquid, surface tension of the liquid, and diameter of the tube. So you have to remember these three factors. Okay, first is your specific weight of the liquid, diameter of the tube, and surface tension of the liquid. So these are the three factors on which this capillary rise or capillary depression will depends upon. Okay. Now, we will derive a mathematical expression for capillary rise. For that, consider a glass tube of small diameter D, open at both the ends. Okay, so you can see here, it is open from here also, it is open at the top also. Okay, is inserted in a liquid, say water. For this case, suppose this is water. The liquid will rise in the tube above the level of the liquid. So this is your level of the liquid. Above this liquid there is rise, and its value or magnitude is given by small h. Under the state of equilibrium, let h be the height of the liquid in the tube. Okay, under the state of equilibrium, the weight of liquid of height h is balanced by the force at the surface of liquid in the tube. We all know that at this free surface there will be surface tension, and due to that surface, okay, due to that surface there will be some force acting, and the magnitude of that force will be equals to the weight of liquid present in the tube up to your capillary rise. Here you can see I have marked in yellow color. Okay, so the liquid present in this region, okay, weight of that liquid in equilibrium condition, that will be equals to your surface tension force. Okay, now we will equate it and then we will get the value of your h. What is the value of h? Means capillary rise. So let sigma is the surface tension of the liquid. You can see here sigma is acting like this because it is like a meniscus. It will come like this curved surface. You can see in the red color in the figure that I am drawing. Here you have sigma. Okay, and the angle is here theta. Angle is here theta. So the angle theta is the angle of contact between liquid and glass tube. Now, if I'll ask you one question, what will be the weight of liquid of this yellow color region, that volume, what will be the weight of that liquid present over there? Yes, type in the chat box. Let's see how many of you know the answer. If you know the density of liquid is given by rho, okay, so you all know that basic formula, mass density equals to mass by volume. Okay, density equals to mass by volume. So first you have to calculate mass. So mass will be equals to, let me write here, then you will be able to understand. Density represented by rho is equals to mass represented by m by volume v. Okay, so from here we will calculate mass. So from this expression, mass will be equals to density into your volume. Okay, so density is known, rho. Volume is, this is a cylindrical tube. This is a cylindrical tube. So what is the formula for volume of a cylinder? Area of this cylinder, area of this tube, it will be a circle. Area of circle is pi by 4 into d square. Okay, into height h. So it will become, let me write here in the corner, rho into volume is nothing but area. So pi by 4 into d square. This is 4. This is area into height given by h. So that is what here you can see, area of the tube, height h, rho is your density. So this much is giving the mass of liquid present over there. Okay, but we are looking for weight of the liquid. So if you want to get the value of weight, if you have known mass, then you have to multiply it with acceleration due to gravity. That is your g. So from here you will get weight of liquid of height h in the tube. Okay, is this clear to all of you? Write yes sir in the chat box. How do I calculated the weight of the liquid? Is that clear to all of you? If anybody is having doubt, you can ask me, I will repeat it.
Repeat, sir.
Okay, okay. See, what we are looking for, let me draw a whiteboard over here. Okay, I will write here in this region only. We all know the basic formula, density, I'm writing density for rho equals to, what is density? Density equals to mass by volume. Okay, here we have to calculate the weight of this column, weight of this extra height from here to here in the tube. Okay, so for that, from this expression, mass equals to density into volume. Okay, now density is given for the given liquid, so it will remain as it is. Now volume, everyone know that volume of liquid inside this cylindrical tube will be equals to area of the tube into height of the tube, height of the liquid, that is given by small h. Okay, so the cross sectional area of this tube will be equals to, this is a circle, this is a circular tube na. If it is rectangular cube or square cross section, then you have to use that formula, but this is a circular tube, so the formula will be pi by 4 into d square into small h. So this entire term will be the mass of the liquid present in this capillary rise column. Okay, this is mass, but what we are looking for? We are looking for weight. Okay, so if you remember your Newton's second law, force equals to mass into acceleration. This is your Newton's law, Newton's second law, and it will be widely used in your fluid mechanics derivation. F equals to m into acceleration, mass into acceleration. Here we have calculated the expression for your mass. F is weight, force is your weight. Weight is what? Weight of any body. Suppose we are normally, we used to ask what is your weight. So you tell me 70 kg or 75 kg, but that is actually mass. Mass is nothing but the capacity of your body. Okay, weight is the force with which you are attracted towards center of the earth. Okay, so that will be equals to mass into acceleration due to gravity. So you have to write here m into acceleration due to gravity g. Okay, so for m we have already done the calculation here. So finally you can write weight of the liquid equals to rho into pi by 4 d square into h into g. So this is what it is written here. If you will see, area of the tube into h, area of the tube is pi by 4 into d square, height is h into rho, rho is the density what we have written here, and g is your acceleration due to gravity, what I have written here. So this will be the weight of the liquid of height h in the tube. Okay, so this is the weight of the liquid column from here up to here. Okay, now I hope this is clear. This is a simple calculation. Now finally what we have obtained there, that is written here. Now if you will see in this figure, Here some angle is made. It is like a meniscus. Okay, it is like a meniscus. So we have to write down the component of this surface tension force. The force acting is in this direction, but we are looking for the weight will be acting in, always it will act in downward direction. Okay, now we have to apply the equilibrium condition. So we have to see the component of these two forces. We have two forces. So the component of this force, this is angle theta. So that force will come over here, and same on this side, the force component will come on this side. So if we will write here simple diagram, if I'll write here, suppose this is your fluid element, so the weight will be acting in downward direction, and these two forces will add up. This will be your surface tension force, 2 times of F, and this is the weight that we have calculated here. Weight is acting in downward direction. So for equilibrium, this W must be equals to your 2 times of F. Now let's see. And what is that F? F is nothing but surface tension into circumference into cos theta. Cos theta is nothing but this component. Okay, vertical component we will get here. So you will get sigma pi d cos theta. Okay, so as we have seen here, you have to equate the weight into your surface tension. So if you will equate it and you will solve it, you will get H equals to 4 sigma cos theta upon rho into G into D. Here that multiplying factor 2 is not considered. Okay, it is only written pi d. Okay, because it is acting on the circumference. All the circumference is acting. Okay, it is. So pi d is considered. So here I have written wrong. Here you will be only F, not 2F. Okay, so when you will equate it, you will get the expression equals to H equals to 4 sigma cos theta upon rho into G into D. Here pi and pi will get cancelled out. This D square will get cancelled out. This 4 will go to numerator. So what you will get? 4 sigma cos theta upon rho into G into D. So this is the final that you have to remember for solving the numerical. Okay, this is very important formula for your competitive examination also. See, we have a vast syllabus in fluid mechanics. If you will see, you have 6 units, but for your competitive examination point of view, problems from turbine, very less questions will be asked. From fluid mechanics, they used to ask question from your fundamental units like unit number 1 and unit number 2. For competitive examinations, you have to focus on unit number 1 and unit number 2 with very care. Okay, so this is the formula for your capillary rise. Okay, now all of you note down this derivation, all of you. Now see here, the value of theta between water and clean glass is approximately equals to 0. Okay, so remember this, if that liquid is water, so value of theta will be 0, and cos theta means cos 0 degree equals to 1. Okay, so the formula will be modified as rise of water will be given by 4 sigma upon rho Z Here cos theta will become equals to 1. So this is for water. Remember the value of theta for water and mercury. This is the only 2 liquids that you need to remember. For water, it will be 0 degree, and for mercury, it will be 138, something like that. We will see in the numerical. Okay. So up to here, you note down. I'll give you some time. Note down.